Hey guys, it's ADogs and welcome to my channel. So today we'll be looking over my premium Honorary Professor deck profile. So the deck itself isn't as strong as Big Belly or Isabel per se, but still definitely a very powerful deck. So this deck focuses on doing a very big Honorary Professor double stride turn, and I will explain how that works when we get into the video. It is very piece reliant, but we do run a few cards to help kind of increase that consistency. So with that out of the way, we'll go straight into the deck profile. So first of all, we run 5 draws, 6 crits, 4 heals, being the Hill Guardians and 1 Overtrigger. Then for the starter, we run the 1 Gifted Bear. So he has an auto forerun ability, and then also he has a second skill, which is act on a rearguard circle. He can rest this unit, choose a card with Honorary Professor and its card name from your hand, and you may reveal it. If you do, search a deck for up to 1 card with a different card name from that card and Honorary Professor and its card name, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, choose a card from your hand, discard it, and at the end of the turn, retire this unit. So the reason why we run the Gifted Bear in this deck is because we want to consistently ride the V-Series Honorary Professor Chat Noir, as it has an Axel mecha. So again, when we ride Honorary first, we want to make sure we ride that specific one. So Gifted Bear helps increase that consistency. Just as long as we have an Honorary Professor in hand, we're guaranteed it. Next we have 3 Honorary Assistant Mike Sabiro. So when this unit is placed on a rearguard circle during your main phase, you can choose one of your other rearguards. Until the end of the turn, it gets auto. When this unit is put into your drop zone from rearguard circle during your end phase, you can search a deck for up to 1 grade 3 card, reveal it to your opponent, put it to your hand and shuffle your deck. So this helps us search for our Hill Guards, as well as increase the consistency of getting our other Honorary Professors. As in this build, for the big stride turn, we do need a few grade 3s for the turn. So Mike Sabiro definitely helps with that consistency as well on top. Next we have 3 adorable Balinese. So act in a rearguard circle, you can rest this unit, and if you have a Vanguard with Honorary Professor and its card name, you can choose one of your other rearguards. It gets power plus 4k until the end of the turn, and at the end of that turn, you can countercharge 1 and retire that unit. So this is the deck's countercharger, as the deck does use a lot of counterblast, especially on the double stride turn. So that's why we run 3 adorable Balinese. Next we have 3 Scowl Toucan. So on the rearguard circle, when placed from hand, you can Soul Blast 1 and return one of your other rearguards to your hand. And then also has a second skill in the Vanguard and rearguard circle once per turn. When your card is put from the deck into the drop zone, you may have this unit get plus 5k power until the end of the turn. We're not prioritizing the second skill here, we're prioritizing the first skill. So again, its skill is when it's placed from hand, you can Soul Blast, run and return one of the other rearguards to hand. So what we can do is we can add the adorable Balinese back to hand if we use its skill. So for example, we rest it, having 4k at that turn, counter charge and retire the unit. So the Toucan can bounce it back to hand, and then the Balinese can call itself, it can then rest itself, give the unit counter charge again. So we can counter charge twice with 1 Balinese because of the Toucan. And then with Honorary Assistant Mike Sabiro, again, when we place a rearguard circle, we can give it to a unit that's gonna retire at the end of the turn, so give it the ability to search for a grade 3. We can use Scowl Toucan to bounce the Mike Sabiro back, and then call the Mike Sabiro out, so that we can grab 2 grade 3s at the end of the turn. So Scowl Toucan definitely helps a lot with getting that extra counter charges and getting those extra grade 3s in hand to make our turns as consistent as possible. Next we have 3 Calling Duckbill. So when this card is discarded from your deck, you can Soul Blast 1 and put this card in your hand, and then auto a rearguard circle when your other rearguard is retired by a card's ability. During your turn, you can Soul Blast 1, retire this unit, and draw a card. So first of all, its first skill does work well in tandem with the V-Series Chat Noir, as it also does mill. So if we are lucky to mill the Duckbill, we can add it back to hand. And then the second skill is handy, again, when we're retiring another rearguard. It just helps us dig a little bit more into the deck. As I said, we want to get all our key pieces for our big stride turn. Next we have 4 Treatise Panther. So auto on the rearguard circle once per turn. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Honorary Professor and its card name, Choose up to one of your other reguards in the same row as this unit, and until the end of the turn, it gets plus 4k power, and auto regard circle at the end of the turn, draw a card and retire that unit. So this is a deck. This is a grade 2 that gives us more draw power. It can help make magic numbers. So it's a great card overall. Next we have 3 Spurring Maiden Elenia. So when a unit is placed on regard circle from hand, you can counter +1 and sword +1. Choose a grade 2 or less card from your drop, call it to regard circle, and it gets power plus 5k until the end of the turn. So this can essentially give us an early game. As long as we run another grade 2, we can call this on regard circle. We can call back our Mike Sabiro or maybe our Doral Balinese that we maybe rode as our Vanguard. So if we do, for example, call the Mike Sabiro out, just as an example, we can technically use it on the grade 2 turn. If we do that, what we do instead is with the Gifted Bear, we will use Gifted Bear on our grade 2 turn, so that we can both search for an Honorary Professor and then also have Mike Sabiro's skill active to give to the Gifted Bear as well. So that way we're taking advantage of the lane as much as possible, as well as the Mike Sabiro and the Gifted Bear. This is also a good attack extender as well. On some of our other turns too, being able to, again, when it's placed from hand, being able to call something from the drop to the regard circle. I'll elaborate that a little bit more when we get to the strides. Next we have 4 Crown Tiger. So this is a key piece for the big combo if you have the extra counterblast. So auto regard circle once per turn, GB1, counterblast 1. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, if this unit is boosted up, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other reguards and stand it, and it gets plus 4k power until the end of the turn. And at the end of that turn, you can draw a card and retire that unit. So again, this is a attack ascender, helps us draw more cards too, and give units power to make magic numbers. It also helps on our Baloral turn, Baloral turns, our Managama turns, our Tipcalm turns, as well as the Big Stride turn. Especially as well as the my mind's gone blank. As well as the Cladrius turn. As the Cladrius, which we'll go into later on, has a very powerful effect too. Into the grade 3s, we run 1 Honorary Professor Chat Noir. So on a grade 3 Rises unit, choose one of your Vanguards, and until the end of the turn, that unit gets power plus 10k, and auto Vanguard circle. When your Great Nature Regard attacks the Vanguard, you can choose one of your other Great Nature Regards, and until the end of the turn, that unit gets plus 4k power, and at the end of the turn, draw a card on that unit. Sorry, it can choose itself, sorry, my apologies. We don't really worry about the second or third skill, just the Break Ride skill, which we'll go into later on. So next we run 2 copies of Honorary Professor Chat Savage. So you can choose a grade 3 card with Honorary Professor and its card name from your hand and discard it. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle by writing from Honorary Professor Chat Noir, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 1 face down Omniscience Dragon Calf Plug or Immortality Professor Brahmanda from your G-Zone and stride it on Vanguard Circle. If you stride, you cannot stride to the turn. This is a card that will help us enable the double stride turn, and we'll go to that shortly. Next we have 4 Honorary Professor Chavarit. So its first skill is auto, choose one or more cards with the sum of their grades being grade 3 or greater from your hand and discard them. When this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, search the deck for up to 2 cards of Honorary Professor and the different card names, put them into your hand and shuffle your deck. And then auto on the Vanguard Circle counterblast 1, when the G unit of Honorary Professor and its original card name strides, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3, put it into your Vanguard as a heart, shuffle your deck, and if you put a card, return this card to your hand. So this is a very key piece to the combo, as it allows us to search for all the pieces that we need to do the big stride turn. Then next we have 3 Honorary Professor Chat Noir. So the Vanguard and Rika circle once per turn. When the unit attacks, counter +1. Draw a card, discard the top card of your deck, and perform one of the effects below depending on their card's type. If this unit is on Vanguard circle, perform both regardless of the card type. So normal unit, choose 2 of your regards and they get power plus 5k until the end of the turn, and at the end of the turn retire those units. And if it's a trigger unit, you can choose one of your regards and until the end of the turn that unit can attack from the back row and gets power plus 5k, and at the end of the turn retire that unit. So if we have to go first and we ride Chat Noir, we can still do a couple of multi-attacks. We have an extra axle circle, we can get something to attack from the back row. So if we're able to, we can do like a minimum of 5 attacks. But the main thing we want to do though is we want to get an Excel circle when going first, or and also obviously get an Excel circle going second. We pretty much want to at least get one Excel circle to really push the big stride turn. So how the big stride turn works is it can consist of this 1 Miller Chat Noir and the Brahmanda. So we'll go over both skills first, and then I'll explain how the big stride turn works. So first of all, we have the Super Honorary Professor Miller Chat Noir. So auto Vanguard Circle GB2, so you have to be GB2 when you want to use the skill. You can counterblast 1 and choose 3 cards from your hand and discard them. At the end of the battle this unit attacked, if you have a heart card with Honorary Professor in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, put this unit into your G zone face up, choose up to 1 grade 3 with Honorary Professor from your hand and write it as stand. If you rogue, choose all of your regards, they get power plus 4k until the end of the turn, and at the end of that turn, retire them. And then the other card part of the combo was the Immortality Professor Brahmanda. So auto Vanguard Circle, you can counterblast 1, choose a face down Immortality Professor Brahmanda from your G zone and turn it face up. When this unit attacks, if you have a heart card with Honorary Professor in its card name, you may pay the cost. If you do, shift to the same number of cards from your hand as the number of face up cards in your G zone, called in separate Regard Circle, and until the end of the turn, those units get auto Regard Circle. When this unit attacks, this unit gets plus 4k power until the end of the battle, and at the end of the turn, draw a card and retire this unit. So how the stride turn works is you first of all want to either rather Chariot, or if you have the Chat Noir already, because you have enough grade 3s to do it, then you ride Chat Noir. But the idea is if you have to ride Chariot, you ride the Chariot, use its skill, you discard a grade 3 from your hand, you then search for 1 Savage and then any other Honorary Professor that is not the break ride. Once you do that, you will stride into the Muller Chat Noir, which is this one here, and then you use the Chat Savage's Chariot skill, which is when an Honorary Professor strides over it, you can find a Honorary Professor grade 3, put it into Vanguard as a heart, and shuffle your deck. So what you do, I'm sorry, put this card into your hand. So what you do is you search for the Honorary Professor Chat Noir and place it on the Vanguard Circle. So now you have it set up for when we go into the Chat Savage. And how we get into the Chat Savage is at the end of the battle that the Miller attacks, you obviously discard 3 cards, you ride a Honorary Professor from your hand, and you ride it as a stand. So once you do that, you then proc Chat Savage's skill, which is you discard a Honorary Professor from your hand, and then you can stride into the Brahmanda. Now, because both Chat Savage's and Chat Noir's skill both activate at the same time, what you do is you choose a Chat Savage first to stride into the Brahmanda, and then you use the Chat Noir's ability to give the effect of Brahmanda, so now it has the break ride ability for the whole turn. So then how that works is you swing with your 3 regards first, since you have the Excel circle, then you swing your Brahmanda, you'd use its skill to flip a Brahmanda face up, which would mean you now have 3 cards in the G zone, so you get to call 3 more cards out. So at a minimum, you'll be doing 8 attacks that turn, all under the effect of Chat Noir's skill, which means you will make bigger, beefier columns, you'll draw more cards as well. So at a minimum, you'll be drawing 6 cards, but if you add the Treatise Panther, the Crown Tiger, a couple of those cards into the mix, you'll be drawing even more cards. So the idea is we do this big stride turn, we make some fairly decent numbers as well, and then we draw a ton of cards. And then after that big stride turn, if the opponent has not died, we're then going to our other endgame strides. So the first endgame stride is Omniscience Dragon Tip Calm. So what this one is, this is our over trigger turn stride. So how it works is when your regard is when your card is put into the drop from Regard Circle or your deck, you may pay the cost if you do put the card on the deck. And then when your Regard attacks, you can Soul Blast 1, turn a card from your G Zone face up, and then that unit gets plus 5k power until the end of that battle for each face-up card in your G-zone, and at the end of that battle, retire that unit. So essentially what we do, if we go for the over trigger turn, so we need to have like a couple of cards on the deck, mainly 2 if you can. You then call the over trigger to a regard circle, you then call over the over trigger, so over trigger goes bottom of the deck, so you now have 3 cards in your deck. So what you want to do then is you want to put 3 more cards on the bottom of the deck by calling over, so you have 6 cards. So now when you drive track the over trigger, you won't deck out. And then if you have cards like the Crown Tiger, for example, you will use those to stand up your over triggered unit and have that to swing multiple times and kill for game. Now sometimes the OT play won't happen because maybe you've maybe you've already damage checked it, or you drove check it, or maybe something else gone to the soul. So the other option here is the Bloral. So it has an act on the Vanguard circle once per turn. You can Soul Blast 1 and choose a face down card from your G-zone and turn it face up. And then choose all of your units in the front row until the end of turn. They get auto Vanguard and Regard circle once per turn. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, draw a card. And then they get 4k power for each face up card in your G-zone. At the end of the turn, retire those Regards. So at the minimum, when you use Bloral skill, you will have 5 cards G-zone face up, which means your front row gets plus 20k. So again, you can use the Crown Tigers to stand Regards, get multiple attacks off in the Bloral turn. So they'll be hitting big numbers, but again, the more cards you have face up, the stronger the Bloral turn is going to be. So the Tipcan and Bloral are kind of like our endgame strides if we don't kill on our big Honorary Professor turn. If we don't, again, kill on the Honorary Professor turn, we usually have quite a big hand because we're getting so many pluses from the Bake Ride, the Brahmanda, and any other Regards that have skills, you know, and things like and drawing and all that stuff too. So we'll make quite a thick hand. Now, if we do get to stride first, there are 2 stride options we can go into. So what I go into more often is the Apex Sign Dragon Menagama Aurum. So order the Vanguard circle once per turn, you can counterblast 1 and turn a card from your G-zone face up, and perform put the top card of your deck into your drop zone, and if it is a normal unit, until the end of turn, one of your units gets plus 10k power, and if it is a trigger unit, this unit gets drive plus 1, and you perform that 4 times. And then order the G-zone once per turn. If this card is face up, when your Vanguard attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 and call a card from your hand to Regard circle. So, with the first skill, the idea is if we go into the Menagama Aurum first, we will mill and give all, for the normal units we do, we'll give all those stacks of 10k to 1 Regard, make it a big Regard. Hopefully you have a Crown Target in hand, and we will stand that big Regard multiple times. With the triggers, same thing as well. You know, we'll give our triggers, the trigger power to that unit, make him big. And then we'll use the Crown Tiger to stand our big Regard multiple times. So that is the main of Menagama Aurum. With its second skill, we usually can use this on our big stride turn, double stride turn 2, where again if we stride to this first, we can actually get a couple of extra multi attacks on top. So what I mean by that is instead of riding the attacking with the Malur Chat Noir first, we can actually attack with a couple of Regards first, and because of winning our Aurum skill, providing you have the soul. Then you can go into Malur Chat Noir, and then after that, use the Aurum skill to call 2 Regards out. So you get 2 extra attacks because you have the Aurums face up, so you can get 10 attacks on your big stride turn now. As I said, you can keep going further if you have Crown Tigers, you can get 11, potentially even 12. So the idea is like a big stride turn, it can sometimes be a minimum of 8, but sometimes you can get even more than that. The Aurum also works with the Tipcan, as again, if we have a big adequate amount of soul, we can do some multi-attacks with it, either having Tipcan's effect, which is again, we can, when a regular attacks, you can Soul plus 1 and give it 5k power for each face card in the G-zone. So you can also make other really giant Regard numbers, which can be potentially potent, which means sometimes, even if you don't want the other trigger play, but you think this play is better because you have a lot of soul, you can go for that too, and still make giant numbers big on the Bloral, and still kill the opponent. Alright, and then next, our other first ride is Caladrius. So act on the Vanguard circle once per turn, turn a card from G-zone face up, choose all your front row Regards, they get power plus 10k until the end of turn, and at the end of the turn retire those units. And then order Vanguard Circle when this unit attacks and counter +1. Choose one of your reguards with 30,000 power or greater and standard. And it gets ordered in Vanguard Circle when this unit attacks until the end of that battle. When your opponent would call cards from hand to Guardian Circle, they must call 3 or more at the same time until the end of the turn. So again, we don't typically go into this one, but we have it here. As we need to have a reguard that can reach 30k power. Most of the time, the only way to get a reguard to reach 30k power is we had to have a grade 3 on the Axle 2 circle, so we always go for Axle 2 in this deck. Because the grade 3 will be hitting for 26. After that, we usually either use a Trade-Teach Panther or the adorable Balinese to give that grade 3 reguard that extra 4k power, so it does meet the threshold for Caladrius. You can go Force 1 in this deck too. Sorry, you can go Extra 1 in this deck too, that's not a problem too. Only if you believe your hand is perfectly set up and you want to go into a Caladrius turn instead of a Managama Aurum turn. Alrighty, so all the strides. Oh, sorry, there is one more. My apologies. We do have the Omniscience Dragon Fernegas. So, continuous in the Vanguard Circle, this unit gets plus 4k power for each of your reguards. And then auto GB3 can counter +1 and soul +1. When this unit is put into G zone from Vanguard Circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, at the end of the turn, choose all of your reguards, retire them, and for each unit chosen with this effect, draw a card, counter charge 1, and soul charge 1. So, you don't typically go into Fernegas that much. It is mainly here for the Lynch Dragon matchup. You might also have to go into, if for example you do lose the Chat Noir Break Ride and you need to now think of another play to go into to kind of wall up, make a big hand so that you can survive and get into the big stride turn. So you might have to do that sometimes to get to your blower or your tip calm. This actually does kind of work well preemptively your tip calm since you have a lot of soul for it. So you can still do a very strong tip calm turn because of the Fernegas. Alrighty, next for the G-Guards, the first one we go into is the Immortality Professor Codolini. So when this unit is placed in a Guardian Circle, you can choose one of your reguards, and you may have it get auto reguard circle at the end of each turn. Retire this unit and counter charge 1 until the end of the turn, and if you do, this unit gets shield plus 5k until the end of the battle. So on our big stride turn, with the double stride turn, we need 3 counterblast. Sometimes we might only have 2, but we need the 1 extra counter charge because we might not have seen the Balinese. So the Cannellini is here just to clutch that extra counter charge, so we have the 3 counterblast for the big stride turn. Next we have 2-shotted Harris Spangled. I still don't know why this isn't showing, but anyway, what the Spangled does is when it's placed on the Guardian Circle, you flip a G Guardian from your G zone face up, and then you give the effect to all your Guardians that before that was there, that the Spangled is put on. You give them the ability that when they're retired from the Guardian Circle, you get to draw a card. So the idea is if you have, I don't know, 5 cards in the Guardian Circle, and then you use the Spangled, when those Guardians die, you'll draw 5 cards. But the big play we do here is we put like a, just say we have, I don't know, 6, we put 7 cards down from a hand to Guardian Circle. If we double Spangled, we actually double the amount. So for example, as I said, we put 7 down, we'll draw 14 cards instead. So Spangled will help us dig through our deck much quicker as well, but also refresh a hand with much more on top. So Spangled is an absolutely amazing G-Guard. That's why you run it too. Next we have 2 Head of the Bastion Ardillo. So when this is placed in Guardian Circle, choose any number of your reguards, retire them, and if the number of your open reguard circle is 3 or more, this unit gets shield plus 10k until the end of the turn. So this is just an easy 25k shield, as usually we have 3 open reguard circles. So sometimes you might have the resources, to maybe use some of your other G-Guards which always counterblast, so we have the Ardillo here, which is a fat shield. Next we have 1 Omniscience Dragon Subject Avil. So when this unit is placed in Guardian Circle, can counterblast 1, discard the top card of your deck and perform one of the effects below depending on the card's type. So if there's a normal unit, it gets plus 20k shield until the end of battle, and then trigger unit, choose one of your units and it cannot be hit until the end of battle. So we have it for here when maybe a big stride is swinging at us, maybe under a guard restrict, or maybe has just a massively giant power boost. I don't know, just go for one of the cards like Dimension Place for example. and we might have a perfect guard, or if you do have a perfect guard, maybe they've used a card that maybe retires sentinels. We can just subject a Vil and then pray that we do mill a trigger so that we can guard perfect guard the attack. So this is kind of here for like, hey, you know, we're in a bad spot, we need to really pray for that trigger, you know, to maybe like keep us in the game, so we have it just there for that scenario. And then lastly, we do have the one Immortality Professor, Sankalpa. So when a student is placed in a garden circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your other reguards, and that unit in your Vanguard gets power plus 4k until the end of the battle for each of your open circles. Then if the chosen reguard's power is 20,000 or greater, draw a card. So again, this kind of helps us draw a card when we use our heal, because majority of the time we will hit 20,000 power or greater, and then there's just the big shield too. So it's a very nice G guard all around. Alrighty, so that is the whole deck profile. If you guys did enjoy, please make sure to leave a like, and while you're down there, why not subscribe and hit that notification button so when I upload another video, you will be notified. $8 out. See ya.